largest fast food empire. Have you ever wondered what the golden arches of McDonald's have in common with a massive real estate empire? Today, this brand is known by absolutely everyone. The yellow letter M shines on the streets of Tokyo, New York, Cape Town, and Paris. Every single day, these restaurants serve over 68 million people, more than the entire population of France. But what if I told you that the people who actually came up with the brand, brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald, didn't exactly end up as multi-billionaires? They received almost nothing from the global success of their brainchild. How did it happen that the man who came into this business last made a colossal fortune, while the creators of the genius idea were left on the sidelines of history? And most importantly, what is the true secret of this culinary monster? The McDonald's company actually makes its billions not from selling juicy burgers and crispy French fries at all. The truth will surprise you. Before McDonald's, what the food market looked like to understand the scale of the revolution, let's travel back to 1940s America. Imagine you're hungry and want to grab a bite to eat away from home. What are your options? At the time, drive-in restaurants ruled the market. You would pull up in your car, a waitress on roller skates would lazily walk over, take your order, and you would wait. You'd wait 20, 30, 40 minutes. The food took forever to arrive. It was often cold, and mixed-up orders were the absolute norm. Moreover, these places attracted crowds of rowdy teenagers, dishes were constantly breaking, and the owner's expenses for maintaining a huge staff and replacing broken plates were simply astronomical. But then came the post-war boom. A booming car culture emerged in the US, and the pace of life accelerated rapidly. People no longer wanted to spend a whole hour on a simple lunch. They wanted fast, high-quality, and predictable food. The existing food service market was literally bursting at the seams, but most restaurateurs stubbornly failed to notice that the world had changed forever. The industry desperately needed a completely new solution, and that solution arrived. The McDonald brothers, a restaurant revolution in 1948. Brothers Dick and Mac McDonald decided to take a desperate leap. They already ran a fairly successful traditional restaurant in California, but they closed it down for several months to completely re-engineer their business model. They ruthlessly fired all the waiters. Why? So that customers would walk up to the counter themselves. They cut down a bloated 25-item menu to just 9 choices. A burger, a cheeseburger, 3 types of soda, milk, coffee, pies, and potato chips, which would soon turn into the legendary French fries. No choice of sauces, no customer whims. But the most important thing happened in the backyard. The brothers used chalk to draw a layout of the kitchen on a tennis court, recreating it in real size, and made their employees rehearse their movements. They created the Speedy Service System, essentially the world's first assembly line, like Henry Ford's, but for food. Each worker performed exactly one action. One only grilled patties, the second put the pickle on, the third wrapped the burger. The order delivery time plummeted from 30 minutes to 30 seconds, and the price of a hamburger dropped by half, down to 15 cents. This was a true technological revolution that changed gastronomy forever. Enter the man who would change everything. Ray Kroc. The McDonald brothers were happy. They had a single, perfect, highly profitable restaurant, and they didn't want the extra headache of expanding. But in 1954, a man named Ray Kroc appeared on their doorstep. At that time, Kroc was already 52 years old. He had diabetes, arthritis, a string of failed business ventures behind him, and a grueling job as a traveling salesman selling multi-mixers for milkshakes. When an order for 8 mixers at once came from a small town called San Bernardino for a single cafe, Kroc couldn't believe his eyes. Why would one establishment need to make 40 milkshakes at the same time? Driven by curiosity, he hopped on a train and traveled across the country. What he saw absolutely shocked him. Ray witnessed a massive, perfectly organized line that moved at incredible speed, and happy people buying cheap burgers by the bagful. While the McDonald brothers saw their creation as just a good family business, Kroc instantly recognized something much bigger. He saw the future. He understood the scale of the idea and offered the brothers a deal. They would give him the right to sell franchises of the restaurant across the country. The brothers agreed, never suspecting that this step would mark the beginning of the end of their own control over the brand. How the franchise became a global empire in those days. Franchising in America had a terrible reputation. Brand owners would simply sell a license, pocket the money, and no longer care about what happened inside the store. As a result, establishments operating under the same name in different cities could vary wildly in quality. Ray Kroc took a fundamentally different approach. He introduced strict, almost military-like standards. A burger in Illinois had to be absolutely identical in taste, size, and temperature to a burger in California. The thickness of the patty, the amount of onions, the diameter of the bun, everything was calculated down to the millimeter. Kroc even standardized the architecture. The famous golden arches, built right into the buildings, were designed to attract drivers from afar. To train his partners, the company later even established its own hamburger university. Ray Kroc traveled the country, personally checking the cleanliness of bathrooms and the quality of the fries. The brand began to scale across America at terrifying speed. And the secret to this success lay in one simple truth. McDonald's wasn't just selling customers tasty hamburgers, it was selling them predictability, consistency, and a flawless business system. The biggest secret of McDonald's, despite the explosive growth in the number of restaurants, in the early years, Ray Kroc could barely make ends meet. His share from franchise sales was incredibly small, while the costs of quality control kept rising. The corporation was on the verge of bankruptcy, and that's when a brilliant financier named Harry Sunborn stepped onto the scene. He looked at the financial statements and completely flipped Kroc's perspective on his own business, explaining that his real business wasn't food service, it was real estate. How did it work? Kroc set up a separate company that bought up or secured long-term leases on the land where McDonald's restaurants would then be built. After that, the corporation subleased this land to its own franchisees at a huge markup, and on top of that, took a percentage of their monthly revenue. If a franchisee performed poorly or violated standards, they weren't just stripped of their license, their land and building were taken away. Too, the rules of the game changed forever. Today, McDonald's is one of the largest real estate owners in the world. The company owns thousands of the most valuable plots of land and buildings in over 100 countries, and their total value is measured in tens of billions of dollars. A massive, stable, monolithic cash flow comes from rent, while the people downstairs simply flip burgers. The company's hardest crises, but even the most powerful empires are not immune to crises. At the turn of the 21st century, a serious threat loomed over McDonald's. A wave of health consciousness swept the world, and the brand became the primary target for advocates of healthy eating. In 2004, the controversial documentary Super Size Me was released, in which the director ate only at McDonald's for a month and visually demonstrated the deterioration of his health. It was a devastating blow to their reputation. Sales started slipping, and competitors like Burger King, Wendy's, and newer healthy food chains began aggressively clawing away market share. What does the giant do? Give up? No. McDonald's launched a massive transformation. Light salads, fruit slices, and apple wedges appeared on the menu. The company made a big bet on premium coffee, creating the McCafe sub-brand, which began successfully competing with Starbucks. Digital technologies were rolled out. Interactive self-service kiosks, powerful mobile app, order customization, and a global delivery system. McDonald's survived and grew even stronger solely due to its fantastic ability to adapt to any societal shift. What we can learn from McDonald's, the history of this corporation, is a perfect business textbook. Here are the main lessons anyone can take away. Simplicity always beats complexity. The McDonald brothers stripped away everything extra, focused on just a few items, and won the market. Strict standards scale better than individual talent. By building a system that any teenager could replicate after a brief briefing, Kroc created an indestructible mechanism. The system is more important than the product. You might make burgers that are much tastier than McDonald's, but building a system to deliver them flawlessly anywhere on the planet is a challenge of a completely different caliber. Look at the root. The most profitable layer of a business can be hidden exactly where it seems least likely at first glance. The bottom line, what started as a tiny roadside stand by two inventive brothers in a provincial town turned into the greatest business empire in human history, all thanks to the iron will and strategic genius of a single mixer sale. The McDonald brothers gave the world a magnificent idea. Ray Kroc turned that idea into a flawless money printing machine. But the true success of this giant doesn't lie in secret sauces or the recipe for sesame seed bun. It lies in a global, meticulously thought out system. McDonald's didn't just change the fast food industry, it permanently changed our very understanding of how a global business is built, scaled, and wins. Which global company and its story inspires you the most? Whose rise or epic fall should we break down next time? Apple, Nike, Tesla, the legendary Lego, or maybe the story of Nokia? Share your thoughts.